Hi everybody, David at Apollo Fundraising here, and today I want to talk to you about thanking. Our thank yous are one of the most important communications we write and send. It has a disproportionate impact on the relationship we have with donors, and whether that's going to be a long relationship or a short relationship. If we get it right, we can drastically increase the chances of that donor going on to give again, building their support and having a long relationship with us and our organization. But too often, thanking becomes seen as a bit of an administrative chore. We feel that sense of obligation. It's just something we've got to do because it's polite. And I put it to you that if you're viewing your thank yous as just a box ticking exercise, something that we've just got to tick on the database to get it to stop shouting at us, or to feel that sense of obligation, then we're missing the point and missing a trick. And I'm going to show you why. Because when a donor makes a gift to our organization, just after they click submit, they make that payment, there are three questions, three nagging doubts in the back of their mind that we need to try and address. The first is, did the gift get there okay? Did the money go? Did it make its way to where I intended? Has it safely been delivered with the organization I wanted to support? The second question is, what happens next? How is my gift now going to make a difference? What's the process for that? But also, what next for me in the organization? What can I expect to hear? How is this relationship going to progress moving forward? Or is that just the end of the line? The third question is probably a question they don't know they've got, but is one of the most important. And it's that question of, did I make the right choice? Did I make the right decision? Because whenever we spend money, whenever we buy something, whenever we donate something, we're left with that question, was it the right choice? And you'll have heard of the concept of buyer's remorse. You better believe that donor remorse is a thing as well. Because at the end of the day, this is a voluntary choice. We're making that decision, we're handing something over, and the benefit to us or that payback to us is not necessarily apparent. So we're left with that doubt in the back of our mind. Was that the right thing to do? And we want to try and make sure that they know this absolutely was the right thing to do. So three questions, three areas where that donor's looking for certainty, having made that donation. But there's also things that we need as a fundraiser. And the good news is the three things we most need align perfectly with those donors' needs as well. So that first one is, we do feel that sense of obligation, probably because from a young age, we've been taught that it's polite to say thank you when someone gives a gift. So as a fundraiser, we want to acknowledge that. We want to recognize the fact that someone has done something fantastic. We want to show that that gift's been received and that we really appreciate what that donor's done for us. But also we know that maintaining relationships with donors, encouraging donors to give again and building that relationship, it's a much more efficient way of fundraising than constantly having to find people who are going to give for the first time. So we also want to set out that path for that future relationship. There are probably questions, we've got gaps in our understanding of that donor and why they gave. So there's a need for us to keep that relationship going, setting out that path for this to be a long-term relationship. And the third one links to that question of whether the donor made the right choice. We want that act of donating, of supporting our organizations to feel brilliant. We want donors to come away with that warm, fuzzy feeling. And that's not just because that's a nice thing to have. It's because it makes that act of supporting our work memorable. And memorable experiences and positive memorable experiences are ones we like to repeat. There's science behind it. There are two neurochemicals that get released in our brain. Serotonin, when we're made to feel socially valued and respected, and dopamine when we feel rewarded. And this is what gives us that pleasurable experience, but also helps us to remember that as a pleasurable experience. And ideally, we want to connect that pleasurable experience with the act of supporting our organization. So direct mapping there between what the donor's looking for and what helps us as a fundraiser. The problem is most thank yous just tick that first box. They're just showing, we've received the money, thanks very much for that. End of the line. If we can get our thank yous to respond to those second and third needs, we're going to pave the way for this to be a long-term relationship. We're going to have a much bigger impact. And as I say, we're going to disproportionately impact whether this donor gives again. So 5 ways you can make your thank you super. First, S, It's got to be speedy. Yeah, if we're triggering that warm, fuzzy feeling, we need the donor to associate that with the act of giving. So there's no good waiting days, weeks, even months after that donor's made a gift before you sort of initiate that warm, fuzzy feeling. You say something that makes them feel good about it. It's got to be as close to the act of donating as possible. Second, we need to make it unique. How can I feel respected and valued and seen as a human if the first thing I get is, "Dear friend, thanks for your unspecified gift. Lots of love, generic charity." I need to feel that I've been recognized as a human, not just as a database entry, a database record. So try and reflect their name, try and reflect the value of the gift they've given and the impact it's going to go and have. And then anything else you can add into that that recognizes the relationship they've got with your organization. And if you know it, their motivation for making that gift. So that doesn't mean having to rewrite every single thank you message from scratch, but we're trying to tailor it enough that it feels that it's been written for that donor specifically. Third, P, it's got to be passionate. Yeah, we're not sending a receipt. And when a donor's given a gift to our organization, that's an act of love. That's them stepping forward, doing something they didn't have to do to show that they love our organization. They want to help the people that our organizations are there to support. And if what they get is bland and lifeless, it's not going to hit the mark. It's not going to generate that warm, fuzzy feeling. It's not going to give them that dopamine hit. And it's going to get them to start questioning, yeah, did I make the right choice here? Was this the right decision? Your thank you is a love letter, and it's why I have this print behind my desk. It's that reminder that every message, every communication we have with the donors should be a love letter, and especially our thank yous. So hug them back, show that you really recognize the fact they've done an amazing thing. Tip 4, E, make it engaging. As I said just now, there are going to be questions you have. There are going to be gaps in your knowledge. This is your chance to start filling some of those gaps in. And we want this to be a long-term conversation. So if your thank you letter effectively acts as a full stop, if it draws a line under that gift and closes down communication, again, we've missed an opportunity. So use the thank you letter to try and generate interaction and engagement from the donor. Ask questions, encourage them to respond, and make it easy for them to respond as well. And finally, R, make it repeated. We, I think, overestimate just how many of our messages actually get across the first time of asking. One of the most common reasons people give for not supporting an organization again, having previously made a gift, is that they weren't thanked. And I think in most cases, they probably did get a thank you, but either it was deleted or thrown in the bin before they read it, or it just didn't really resonate as a thank you. It came across more as a receipt. Take opportunities to continue to thank people as that relationship progresses. There's much more chance that that thank you is going to resonate. It's going to have the impact we're looking for. So there you have it, 5 ways you can make sure your thank yous are super.